Welcome into another edition of BamaCentral 3 and Out with Christopher Walsh and Joey Blackwell. I'm Katie Wyndham. And guys, Alabama is entering fall camp this week. Nick Saban's kicking off his 16th season with the Crimson Tide, which is kind of hard to imagine. But over those 16 seasons and really his decades now in college football, we've seen Nick Saban change and adapt and remain on top of the game. And Chris, you've been covering Nick Saban and Alabama for a long time. Is there anyone better at adapting at Nick Saban in college football?
Okay, if you just called me old, it just kind of worked. But yeah, I think you have to look at him in the grand context of things. I mean, the one guy that should come to mind immediately is Bear Bryant, because here's famous coach who was winning one way, had to change his style, came back, won more national championships, and Nick's obviously had to do that. I'm going to say that he is, though, because he's also doing it in NIL age, when we're talking the spread, no huddle ages, the conference, the landscape of college football completely changing, the playoff age, and he's still going. So my vote, yeah, it's definitely Saban in terms of history.
Yeah, I think a lot of this question has been thrown around a lot lately, obviously, like Chris said, with NIL and the transfer portal and having to adapt to both of those. But you also need to look at the types of teams he's had since coming to Alabama. I mean, think about the 2009 championship team, where it was more of a ground and pound style of offense, a pretty solid defense. But then over the next decade, it's really turned into a high flying offense. A lot of that goes to Lane Kiffin, to kind of changing up how the offense works. But at the same time, the defense has been consistent, and the offensive game in college football has changed radically over the past decade and a half. And at the same time, no matter what changes have come Nick Saban's way, he's still been able to evolve Alabama to kind of adapt and survive and still win 6 national championships and maybe even a couple more before he retires. So I think, at this point, there's really no question that Nick Saban is really high up there. If he's not number one, he's definitely in the top 3 in terms of adaptability for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Even when I've been, working on my position previews, when I was looking at the running backs and kind of Alabama's rushing stats through the Saban era, and how the last couple of years, they've thrown for way more yards than they rushed for. And it's been the opposite early on in his career. Or even previewing the defensive line and looking back at guys like Terrence Cody and Jesse Williams, and does Nick Saban recruit guys like that along the defensive front anymore? No, because of the no huddle, he had to get quicker and slimmer guys up front. And so for all the reasons y'all said, he when it's all said and done, may just be the best at doing it. But that'll about do it for today's BamaCentral 3 and Out. Thank you so much for watching.